I was once so broke, I couldn't afford to pay my electricity bill. Those were the darkest days of my life. Today, I'm going to recap a 2023 action thriller film called Black Lotus. Our tale unfolds in the city of Hamburg, Germany, at the renowned German National Opera. Here, an orchestra is meticulously setting the stage for an impending rehearsal. Unbeknownst to them, a group of armed mobsters stealthily closes in. Upon the conductor's arrival, the musicians begin their practice session, entirely oblivious of the impending threat. However, the tranquility is shattered when the thugs storm in, firing rounds into the air. Arriving in the nick of time, a rescue team spearheaded by John. He issues final instructions to his squad as the criminals broadcast live, declaring their takeover and demanding a staggering ransom of $300 million. Despite the escalating tension, John urges restraint and patience, awaiting his orders before any retaliation. The drama heightens when the mobsters' leader singles out a woman and callously executes her. This sparks defiance in Matteo, one of John's team members, who goes against the orders and retaliates, prompting John to authorize the tactical unit to engage. A fierce gunfight ensues, with John's unit showcasing exceptional prowess and successfully overpowering most of the criminals. Following a heated exchange of fire, John reproaches Matteo for his insubordination, only to discover Matteo has been wounded. In a shocking turn of events, a disguised gangster rises from the hostages, only to be taken down by Matteo. Tragically, this distraction provides an opportunity for another thug to fatally wound John. Fast forward 5 years, we find Matteo in Romania, leading an unsatisfying life as a retired special force operative working at Assa Mill. He is haunted by his past, particularly John's death. As he receives an old photograph, he is swept into a flood of memories with John's family. Choosing to face his past, Matteo announces his retirement and books a ticket to Bucharest. Meanwhile, in Amsterdam, Agent Shira leads an Interpol team to intercept a drug shipment and apprehend a group of mafiosi from diverse syndicates. News of this reaches the notorious mob boss, Saban. Among the detainees is an undercover Interpol agent instrumental in the operation's success. Shira stresses the need for more information to nab the mob kingpins. Concurrently, Matteo arrives in Amsterdam and encounters Paul, a businessman dealing in cryptocurrencies. Despite assuring his client about the smooth proceedings, Paul is worried about his cryptographs. Upon reaching John's house, Matteo is greeted by Angie, John's daughter, and Helene, John's widow, who is now Paul's wife. He is invited inside and learns about Helene's new life. Helene criticizes Matteo for his absence during John's funeral, considering their brotherly bond. Matteo acknowledges his guilt over John's demise, an admission that Helene struggles with as she has moved on and prefers not to revisit those painful memories. As Matteo prepares to depart, Helene beckons him to stay longer. Meanwhile, Saban experiences disagreements with his chef over a dish that fails to entice customers at his restaurant. Helene offers Matteo the opportunity to utilize some of John's leftover items and expresses her delight in seeing him after such a lengthy hiatus. Unbeknownst to them, Saban and his gang have discovered a traitor within their ranks. Paul arrives home to find Matteo with Angie and Helene, who informs him of Matteo's past friendship with John and that he would be staying with them for a while. Post-dinner, Matteo retreats outside, his mind flooding with memories of John and their shared experiences in Afghanistan. They had discussed their families, and John had revealed that Helene was expecting. Angie confides in her mother that she has taken a liking to Matteo. Subsequently, Paul and Matteo share a conversation where Matteo reminds him that there's always something worth fighting for. Helene reassures Paul, stating that he need not be concerned about Matteo, as they had experienced a lot together with John. Later, Matteo finds a note from Angie requesting him not to leave without bidding goodbye. The next morning, Matteo heads out for a jog. Upon his return, he spots Helene and Angie leaving for school and agrees to Helene's request to dog-sit. Saban visits Paul, questioning the missing 15 million euros for his account. Paul attempts to placate him by attributing it to a minor hiccup in the cryptocurrency market, promising a quick resolution. He pleads for an extra day, leading Saban to remind him sternly that he has only 24 hours. As Saban departs, an undercover Interpol agent tracks his movements. However, they soon realize they are being traced too. Back at home, Matteo, somewhat disillusioned with life, dabbles in some carpentry work. Helene then invites him for a family outing, where he enjoys his time, especially with Angie. A worried Paul returns home in a state of distress, sharing with Helene only that he has some account computations to work out, concealing the truth about Saban. Matteo continues with his physical training, oblivious to the shocking discovery of a murdered body suspended from a bridge by tourists on an adventure. The victim, identified as the mole working with Interpol, was dispatched by Saban's men. Upon hearing the news, Shira and her partner rush to the crime scene, while Matteo busies himself with his carpentry. The news reports a slump in cryptocurrency as Paul receives a demanding call from Saban about his money. Despite the urgency, Paul assures him of a resolution, prompting Saban to dispatch his men to rectify the matter. Shira and her associate infer that the mobsters are delivering a message. Meanwhile, Angie teases Matteo about his battle scars before embracing him tightly, a gesture observed by Helene. Busy with work, Paul informs Helene he won't be able to make it home. While enjoying a pizza meal, Angie gifts Matteo a drawing. Helene requests Matteo to extend his stay for Angie's sake. Abruptly, some gangsters show up, tailing them. Angie spots them and attempts to intervene, but Matteo protects her from harm. However, she is kidnapped, and Matteo is injured but manages to pursue them on a bicycle. Upon learning of the kidnapping, Paul contacts Saban, but his pleas are met with silence. Undeterred, Matteo continues his pursuit, eventually leaping onto a car and engaging the kidnappers in combat, leading to a collision. As he falls, memories of John flood back, emphasizing their familial bond. Matteo regains consciousness in a hospital, handcuffed. Shira introduces herself to Helene and Paul, but soon after, Matteo is released. He informs Shira of his plans to rescue Angie. Shira shares what she knows about Saban and the other associated gangs, indicating that the abduction is personal. When questioned, Paul remains tight-lipped. Shira leaves her business card with Matteo. As she departs with her partner, they attempt to unravel the link between Saban and the kidnapping. One of Saban's henchmen observes the situation. Meanwhile, Angie is held captive at Saban's club, where the news of Matteo's escape from the hospital reaches them. Matteo, contemplating a drawing gifted by Angie, recalls when John had asked him to be Angie's godfather. Matteo prepares to launch a rescue mission, gathering necessary items. When Paul attempts to dissuade him, he accidentally lets slip about Saban's involvement, revealing that he owes Saban 15 million euros. Armed with John's guns, Matteo instructs Paul to call Saban and convince him that he has the funds, suggesting an exchange for Angie. Saban agrees to the deal, designating a construction site for the exchange. Matteo promises Helene he will bring Angie back safely. Interpol deduces that Paul is withholding information. Meanwhile, Matteo commandeers the car of Shira's partner and arranges a meeting with Paul. However, sensing danger as Matteo is associated with Interpol, Paul is apprehensive. Matteo arrives at the designated site, where he encounters Saban's gangsters. He demands to see Angie, but is informed that she isn't there. The agreement was only for the money's delivery to secure Angie's safety. The gangsters forcibly seize his bag, but upon inspection by the team leader, it's revealed to be a bomb. The ensuing explosion injures several gangsters, while shrapnel strikes the rest. Matteo drags the surviving leader away for questioning. Back home, Helene is apprehended by one of Saban's henchmen. A fight ensues with the Interpol agent, resulting in the agent being cut multiple times by a blade. It's only Helene's gunshot that scares the assailant away. Meanwhile, Paul hastily packs his belongings. Matteo detains and tortures the captured gangster to learn Angie's location. The gangster eventually capitulates and discloses her whereabouts. Helene attends to the wounded Interpol agent. However, when the agent seeks help from Paul, he coldly ignores them and departs. As Paul heads to his car, one of Saban's henchmen, lying in wait, executes him. Shira arrives on the scene as the henchman departs, comforting her partner by assuring him of a future medal for his bravery. Matteo instructs Shira to arrange for backup as he embarks on the rescue mission. Saban, worried due to the lack of updates from his men, converses with Angie, questioning whether Matteo will come to her rescue. Confidently, she affirms that he will. As Matteo reaches the club, the bodyguards attempt to bar his way. A confrontation ensues as Shira joins the fray, aiding Matteo in neutralizing the opposition. Saban decides to flee as Shira and the backup incapacitate the remaining gangsters. Saban instructs his remaining men to stay behind. When Matteo and Shira encounter them, a fierce fight ensues, while Saban escapes with Angie. The battle continues, but Matteo decides to pursue Saban alone. Upon confronting Saban, who is holding Angie hostage, Matteo is warned not to approach or risk Angie being shot. Suddenly, Matteo hurls a blade into Saban's heart. Although Saban manages to shoot Matteo before dying, Matteo survives the injury, with Angie rushing to his side. 6 months later, Angie and Helene contemplate if Matteo will ever return, as he is seen alone on a boat, navigating the waters. Back in the hospital, Shira's partner is awarded the Medal of Honor. Upon her arrival, Shira informs him that they have more tasks to undertake. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.